The coronavirus pandemic has impacted virtually every aspect of our daily lives. But beyond the dangerous health risks, the financial markets have been in turmoil, to say the least, suffering their worst losses since the '87 crash. And that includes the Great Recession in between. Here to provide some insight is Jamie Cox with the Harris Financial Group. Jamie, everyone wants to know, when is it going to end?
You know, I was thinking today, I can't wait for the coronavirus to give way to spring fever. It's going to be, it's going to be really nice when all this is over.
I know, we're laughing. It's terrible. But so what is happening in the market? The bond market getting tanking, the stocks are tanking. Where does one turn to at a time like this?
People are afraid. And when people are afraid, they just sell. And I think that's happening across the markets. Bonds, stocks, gold, every asset class is having a really rough time, except for one, U.S. Treasuries. And that's really the only thing that's really been up through the last maybe 2.5 weeks.
And so the yield is getting presumably pushed down by all that demand.
Yeah, people are seeking the safest haven they can find, and U.S. Treasuries in 2008 financial crisis proved to be rock solid. So that's what everybody's running to, because I think a lot of people believe that this particular circumstance could turn into 2008, but the circumstances could not be different.
Because the underlying economy was seemingly robust, right?
3 weeks ago, people would never have believed this would happen. The economy was in a really good spot. And we're going into this, thankfully, with a good base. So we're not looking at a balance sheet type recession where you're going to talk about any type of companies really going out of business in the banking system and causing it to filter around the world. What you are looking at, however, is a period of time where you're going to see certain industries really struggle. Hospitality, transportation, and that's going to last, unfortunately, for a couple of months until this resolves itself.
And so what are the cautionary items that you might point out? Because, for example, like you said, there's a lot of fear, there's some blood in the water. What could make it worse? Or is it simply once the pandemic is sort of under control and the spread seems to be slowing enough that the hospitals are not overrun, life sort of returns back to normal? Is that when things start to ease back in, or could worse things still happen because of this fear?
I think the unknown is the really big factor in all of this. None of us really know exactly how this ends. We can take examples from China where they are sort of on the back end of it, where they've already gone through the difficulties, and we've seen it takes about 3 weeks. But their economy still, and the supply chains that they supply, or the things that they do, are really not back online. So it's almost been a month and a half, even for that economy, which was arguably offline, the second largest economy in the world, offline for a month and a half. It's unprecedented. And it's sort of rolling through now Europe and coming here home to the United States. So what we're going to see for the next 6 months is this, the data that comes in is going to illustrate that we are definitely going to hit recession, but we're going to bounce back very quickly as soon as these economies come back online. So we'll have this a really, really steep and sharp drop, and then a really steep and sharp recovery. So by the end of the year, things will be fine.
And so would an optimist say, hey, this is a buying opportunity?
Well, the Motley Fool had one of the best quotes of the week. It said, health and financial advice, the first is wash your hands, and the second is sit on them. And so this is not the time to be reacting. This is the time to be thinking about what your portfolio allocations are looking like. If you can pick up an opportunity, if you had some bonds or had some cash that you hadn't allocated, this is going to turn out to be one of the best buying opportunities in several years. It's just going to be difficult for you to deploy that cash when you're afraid, but This is exactly the time to do it.
All right. Otherwise, stay the course. If you're not retiring now, just hang on.
Everything will be fine in
All
due
right.
time.
Jamie Cox from the Harris Financial Group. Sober advice as always, and helps buck us up a little bit. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Let's send it out now to Francis.